working? It is now. Hello, good evening and welcome. I hope that you are all well. Well, I don't have the car. Weirdly, I do not have the Clio RS 220 Trophy 16. I have got the 15, but not the 16. So I don't know where that car is bought from, but quite clearly, I've got an issue in my system somewhere. I do wonder whether I have probably bought it and wide-bodied it for some reason, and that's probably why it isn't available to me at the moment. In the chat, we've got Greg White. Good evening. Borky's jumped in. Good evening. And I can see that Rita's in too. Good evening to all of you guys, my friends. Tonight I am going to be doing mostly spectating. We've got nobody out on track at the moment. Mostly spectating this evening because I do want to try and rest a little bit so that I can get into the daily race B at around about 11 o'clock. I did do a good number of laps earlier on, and paying the price for it a little bit. So I'm going to rest. I'm going to be good. Deadpool, there was a Clio night that had tuning on, so probably was wide-bodied. Yeah, I think that's probably what I've done. So at the end of this one, I will go out and buy the correct car, and hopefully I will be able to find that. So there we go. Good evening, Jonesy. So tonight, we've got some good races been thrown up by the randomiser. First of all, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in the Renault Clio RS 220 Trophy 16. In the game there is a 15 and a 16. It's a 16 car that we're running in. Then we're off the Grand Valley Highway in the GR3s. That's 9 laps around there with 6 tyres and 3 fuel, and requiring racing soft and racing hard tyres. So that is going to be an interesting one. Then we're at Sainte-Croix B reverse. So again, we often do Sainte-Croix B, but not in reverse. Could be an interesting to watch. 2 and 2 light with racing soft tyres. And there's a lot of people that do like the reverse configuration around Sainte-Croix. It does. I prefer it the regular way round, but I do know that the reverse configuration does flow very, very nicely indeed. And then we're staying at Sainte-Croix for C in the Group 1s, where we're doing 8 laps with 4 tyres, 5 fuel, and racing medium tyres only in that one. So, yeah, some interesting races the randomizer has thrown out. So we're going to run those, and then once we've got those done, I'm going to jump into the daily race Bs, and I've changed my car. I've did about 100 laps earlier on, or through the day in the Ferrari chasing Jack Kobe, and I'm actually quite liking that car now, much more than the Porsche. I can get more consistent times. I'm still spinning it, I'm still dropping it and having issues, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see when we get into them later on. I've had a break of a good few hours since I last did any of that, so we'll see how we are fixed. Yeah, Jonesy, everything's bopped tonight. We're back normal bop for my lobbies, I'm afraid. So if you have got a wide-bodied like me, you ain't gonna get in. And I think that's the reason why I can't see my my car, if I'm honest. Hello. We got somebody at the door. You can open the door if you want. Are you disappearing? Thank you for popping around. Thank you for your help. I'll catch you a little bit later on. Bye. All right, that's my daughter. She came over to help me to move some boxes. Got a lot of plasterer in tomorrow in the utility room, and a whole load of really heavy boxes. And because I can't lift anything at the moment that is heavy, I can't strain my back or strain myself at all. She's come across to help out with her husband, and thankfully they've managed to move them for me, which has been really good. So I was just saying goodbye. Oh, it looks like Jonesy's got both. So we've only got a few races in this one at the moment. What have we got? We've got 7: Greg White, Mad Mikey, Jonesy, Borky, D-Locks, and Rita's joining. So it's going to be 6. Do I want to go public? I don't think I want to go public just yet. We'll see how things work out. I'm going to get the qualifier underway at 1/4 past, which is when we normally go. Sorry, 10 past, not 1/4 past, 10 past. So 5 minutes, and we'll get this one going. And yeah, we'll see how we go. So gonna be interesting. I'm not gonna race this one. A, I haven't got the car, and B, I am just trying to rest so that I can do some daily races later on. And as far as the daily races are concerned, I have got a 1:24 lap time, which is my best time. And in the Ferrari, I have been managing to get within tenths of a second of my fastest lap, which has been really infuriating. The fact I can't quite beat it. I can't quite get back into the 1:24s. They're like 1:25.02 and 01. It's like frustrating the living daylights out of me. But I was finding that in the Porsche, my lap times were sort of around about the mid 1:25s to the mid 1:26s, whereas in the Ferrari, admittedly just in time trialing, I was able to get a mid to high 1:25s fairly consistently. So we'll see. William is just about to join, so we'll just wait for William, and then we'll be getting this one underway in a few minutes' time. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to trying the daily race again this evening. We had a bit of a mare earlier on. I had a couple of instances where well, one of them, a guy punched it up the inside. I then went defensive on the long straight. He went 2 wheels on the grass to try and push by, and it was a bit of a nudge. And then when we went into the corner at the end of the long straight, he just chucked it up the inside, pushed me wide, and went through. And it sort of unsettled me a bit where it was just hard racing, nothing overly untoward, but it was just a little bit uncomfortable for my liking. And I then think I had a spin and dropped it, and yeah, it just wasn't good. And then I had another one where we were coming into the first corner, and a guy had dropped it or had some problem. He was recovering in a white car on the left hand side. There was about 3 cars on the right hand side, and I was on the left. And I thought, I can't go right because I'm going to rear end 3 cars, and I'm just going to domino effect and push, create merry hell like I did last night. Or I'll put it on the grass and just see if I can get up the outside of the white car that I was catching at a rapid rate, and I couldn't brake hard enough. And unfortunately, I was braking. I got 2 wheels on the grass, and of course, it just lost the traction, carried straight on, and I went way too deep into the corner. And that race was pretty much done and dusted. But otherwise, we wound up minus 408 DR, which wasn't overly bad considering I did about 4 or maybe even 5 races earlier on. So yeah, quite looking forward to getting back into that a little bit later. So we just got Wills is going to be joining us. That will give us 7 runners on track. Greg White, Mad Mikey, D-Locks, Jonesy, Rita, Borky, Wills, and we've actually got Libyath who's just joining as well. So we're actually going to have 8 on track, which is quite nice. That's a nice number, and it'd be nice to have a full complement of 15 plus me 16, but unfortunately we're not quite there at the moment. Yeah, so like I said, looking forward to getting into the daily races a little bit later on. So I am going to be resting. For those of you who just joined me, I'm going to be commentating for most of the evening, just to rest my back so that I can then get a good hour or so of racing. And of course that will start off with a little bit of a warm-up, just getting to grips with the car and the track. And we're going to be doing it in the Ferrari. We will be doing it in the Ferrari. Right, we are 21:10. I'm just waiting for LobbyRaces to tick in. Let me just do the usual. Please tick in. You know full well by the time I've done this, he will have ticked in. No, it hasn't. So I need to get LobbyRaces to tick in, and then we can get going. There we go. LobbyRaces is in. Let's get this one underway. We're going to start the qualifying. So 5 minutes of qualifying, and then we'll be into a short 5-lap race. So I don't know, just under 10 minutes or something for this race. And then after that, we get into all sorts of things. It is a far from regular night tonight at PSR. The randomiser's thrown out some interesting ones, and interestingly 2 of these are first timers, if not 3 of them. Sainte-Croix, the GR1's around Sainte-Croix layout C, and the GR4 reverse, no, Grand Valley Highway and the GR3s. When I looked at them, it came up that they've been run once previously. So we've done them as a trial, and then people said, yes, we like them, and they've gone into the randomiser. And then they've not come up again. So at least 2, if not 3 of these, if not, the Clios don't come out very often either. So these are quite rare races to come up in the randomiser. It's really nice when it does that. It's certainly going to be pushing people out their comfort zones this evening. Will be very, very interesting to see how many people we have running the Sainte-Croix GR1 race at the end of the night. Would be very, very interesting. There's been a lot of, well, not a lot. There's been a few people have asked for more GR1 races, and I've been a little bit hesitant. And we'll see how many we get in that one, and how it goes and how it pans out. But for the moment, we are just watching Mad Mikey coming around to finish his first lap, and then he'll be on to the first flying lap. So I believe that is an out lap. 1:26.6, but I think that is out. It is, although it's flagging it up. It's got the P next to it, so he's come out of the pit, and nothing up on the timing charts at the moment. This Renault Clio is a really nice car around here. Jack Kobe's not with us today. I think he's been on the road a lot today, and I know that they had a Renault Clio as a track day car for a while. I don't think they had it for very long. I'm not sure how often it was run before they went for the single-seater, but it's a shame he's not racing in this one tonight. He'll be able to show us how to race the Clio, but in the moment it is Mad Mikey that is showing us the way. Oh, somebody behind, that Greg with a half-second penalty, so he's going to have to take the penalty on this lap, which is going to compromise him a little bit. Wheels is going to go flying by, and Mad Mikey's just coming down a hill, hard on the brakes. He's going to go left and right through the chicane and then up the hill, taking it nice and easy over the curbs. Lovely line through the exit there, just 2 wheels in the dirt there, over the start finishing line in just a moment, keeping it nice and easy, and he's set a 1:35.5, so that is the time to chase. Greg is not going to beat that because he's got the penalty, but what can Wills do? Wills is going to come across in a 1:40.6, so God, that's way off the pace. That's 5 seconds off the pace there. Rita's got a 1 second penalty as well now, so I don't know what these guys are doing with the penalties with the qualifier. D-Locks, he hasn't got a penalty, but what can he do? Did he get in amongst the top 3? We've got a 1:35 from Mad Mikey. And he's going to come in with a 137.4, so just displaces Greg, but only by a fraction, or Libyath into the grass as we grow on board with Libyath there. So that would have cost a few tenths of a second. Let's just see how that... He goes into fourth with a 138.1, so 2.5 seconds off the lead. Jonesy's usually pretty good in these cars. What can he do? He goes second, a 137.1, but still 1.5 seconds, 1.6 off of Matt Mikey. So I thought that Jonesy would have been quicker than that. I thought that Jonesy would be pushing Matt Mikey in this one. And Rita with a 1.5 second penalty now. She's just serving that payment. Oh, look at that Clio absolutely standing on its nose as that penalty was taken, and she's going to carry on down the hill. So Rita's going to need to go again. And how much time have we got? Oh, I don't think she's going to get across the line, actually. It is the final lap. Unfortunately, she's going to be starting at the back for this one. And at the moment, it's Matt Mikey with a 135.556 with that fastest lap. Set on lap number 2. And then he did a 135.571. So a 556 and a 571. So really nice consistency from Mikey out there. Wills was a 140.6 and then he did a 136.4. So he's got the hazard lights on. I think the only one that is able to improve is going to be Mad Mikey. I think everybody else looks like we've got hazards on for most. It looks like Greg is still running. So what can Greg do? He's carrying on down the main straight. Delox has finished. Libyath has finished. Rita has too. So it is just, I think, Greg White and Mad Mikey. So Mad Mikey can obviously put a few more tenths on the board, which will get him further away. But the only one that can really upset the apple cart right now is Greg White, I believe. So Mad Mikey going over the top. He's got a 135.556. What can he do? Greg is coming through here as well. Greg did have the penalty earlier on, and then he followed that up with a 136.8, and he goes with a 135.264 and just takes pole by the smallest of margins right at the end there. Hundredths of a second to pop that on pole. That was incredible. Really, really good racing. So Greg White and Mad Mikey are going to lead us away. Jonesy and Wills Racing are going to be on row number 2. Borky and Delox row number 3, and Libyath and Rita row number 4. Wow, Mad Mikey saying, Greg White, why you? Mad Mikey, don't worry about it, because you've got the best side of the track to lead everybody away. You got the advantage into the first corner, in my opinion. In my opinion. Of course, I could be wrong. He might prefer the other side. Who knows? So we've got 5 laps around here. Let's put the display on. And the reason why I say I think he's got the advantage is I prefer to be on the right-hand side for this. I know that you start slightly further back, but I find that it gives you a nice run into the first corner if you can get a good start and get alongside the pole sitter. So what can Mad Mikey do? It looks like he's got a nice run away from the line. He is going to be alongside Greg White into the first corner. And can he sweep around the outside? There we go. That's what I said. I do like that outside line. And Mikey has made it work for him. So Mikey 0.4 ahead of Greg at the moment. And then everybody else is just following on behind a big old train of cars at the moment. We won't... Oh, somebody going around there. It was a black car. Looked like it was sideways. Not quite sure who that was. Well, we've got Mad Mikey and Borky. Oh, Mad Mikey got a blinding start and then dropped it. Oh, no. Mikey. Greg White now out front. Jonesy with a half-second penalty. And Wills on the back. Now, I'm not racing tonight, Wheels, so you need to make sure that you keep it in a straight line and you don't go around. But we've lost our second place man that did get into the lead, and I thought that he was going to run away. Oh, Mad Mikey will be kicking himself. Borky gathering it up as well there. So those two guys right down the back of the field. We've got Wheels making a move on the inside of Jonesy. I think it was that for a place. I can't remember who was in second. I should have remembered. It was only a couple of moments ago, but that's the way my brain is working right now, or not working. However you want to look at it. Greg White, 1.1 out front. Wheels, 0.4 ahead of Jonesy. And it's these three that are for the podium. Libyath is some 2 seconds off the back. And he's got Rita and Dnotes right on his back bumper. So we've got effectively two main races here. We've got the guys out front, 3 of them out front. And then we've got this little chasing pack at the back there. Rita looks like that was quite an aggressive change of direction there, but it's if it was, it didn't cost anything. It might have just been camera angle or a bit of a slide again. Dnotes saw that. Dnotes going around the outside. He's going to get the inside for this corner. Rita not having the opportunity to defend as well as we know that she can. Dnotes getting the better run, but oh, she closes up really nicely under the braking there. Nice exit from all 3 of these guys, keeps the status quo. It's Libyath, Dnotes, Rita at the moment. But I tell you what, 1 penalty, 1 slip, 1 bad curb, and it can all change between these 3. Libyath is 0.4 ahead of Dnotes, and Rita is just 1 second back at the moment. Dnotes setting purples at the moment. And up front, oh, it's Wheels making a move on Greg White. What a move that was just as we joined them. Jonesy not quite, oh, he did follow through. So Jonesy gets into second, and suddenly Greg White finds himself back. I don't know whether that was the result of a bad chicane or maybe a penalty or something. We were watching the battle behind, but out front it is Wheels that has hit the front at the moment, risking everything on that curb there. Oh, Greg's on the grass. How on earth he managed to hold that through there, I'm not sure. Jonesy all over the curb as we go over the top there. Thankfully, I don't think he... Oh, he did get a penalty. It was a half second. He did have all 4 wheels off the racing track there. Greg going a little bit deep into the corner. Greg looks like he's struggling with the tyres a little bit at the moment. They should be fine, but he's just falling a little bit back from these guys. Jonesy fancies a look up the inside. Can't quite get that done. Oh, but he does. That's a lovely move. They're side by side. Wheels is going to need to tuck in behind. Wheels will now get the slipstream. Greg White wants to get on the back of these as well. And then Dnotes and Libyath are not far behind. But Jonesy's going to have that half-second penalty, which is really going to hurt a lot in this one. Wheels is going to go sailing by, as will Greg White, I think. Jonesy will want to get back onto the power as quickly as he can. Looks like he did stay ahead of Greg White. So it didn't hurt quite as much as I thought it was going to. Greg not able to do anything as he goes into the chicane. He's going to have to tuck in behind Jonesy for this one as they get up over the hill. It is going to be Wheels Racing. Is half a second ahead of Jonesy, who's 0.3 ahead of Greg White. And they've got Dnotes chasing 1.5 seconds behind, and Libyath just 0.9 behind. Mad Mikey is 7 back in 6th, but he is recovering from that incident, and you can see the state of his car really mangled on the left-hand side. Rita in 7th and going very, very slowly. I think she might be waiting for Borky to catch up. Borky with the headlights flashing away, saying, "Go on, Rita, go, 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 go." So those guys respectfully racing together at the back. Out front, it is Wheels, now 1.3 ahead of Jonesy and Greg White as these two are battling. So I'm wondering whether, as Jonesy's defending and Greg White is challenging, whether these two guys are actually costing themselves time. Can they do anything up the long straight? Can they bump draft and catch up and close to Wheels? Wheels is 1.3, it drops to 1.2 and then up to 1.3. It's ebbing and flowing. Dnotes just in the background. He wants to join this party. But at the moment, it is Wills with a 136.5 and a 136.6. That is consistent. Jonesy with a 136.3 and a 136.9. So slowing up a little bit with the battling that's going on. And Greg with a 138.1 and a 136.9. Greg's car absolutely hitting the tarmac on the front end as he hits the brakes there. Dr.x is running on a 136.6 and a 136.0. So very, very tight, these lap times, but it is still Wills who is 1.3 ahead as he starts lap number 4. Lap number 5. This is going to be the last lap. Excuse me for my error. And Jonesy he's got Gr.x just 0.1, 0.2 behind, absolutely pushing on. Greg is going to either need to work hard with Jonesy and try for a lunge into the last chicane, or Greg is going to need to get by Jonesy and then get after Wills. But at the moment, Wills is 1.3 out front, and I think that he has got that pretty much in the bag because he's looking really smooth. He's looking in control. He's maintaining that gap all the time. It's just ebbing and flowing between 1.2 and 1.3. So nothing between these top 3 at the moment. And definitely nothing between Jonesy and Greg. Greg giving it everything through that corner with the car. All 4 wheels are sliding. He's just back to 0.3, but he has got the slipstream now. Jonesy, I don't think will have slipstream off of Wills. Wills is 1.3 ahead and he's not closing, but Gr.x is. He's down to 1.1. So Greg nicely set up for a move into the chicane. He goes to the left-hand side. He's made his move. Jonesy's made his decision. It's the last of the late breakers. Jonesy leaves it really, really late. He goes into the gravel. Greg has got a nicer move through there. Jonesy just trying to recover. Recovers behind Gr.x. Dr.x has seen that. Can he get through? Jonesy covers it. It is going to be Wills that's going to come across the line first. Gr.x is going to get second. And it is going to be Jonesy and Dr.x on the line together. LobbyRaces in 5th. Matt Mikey in 6th. And then we are going to get Borky and Rita that are going to come across the line for 7th and 8th. But what a race. And Jonesy just ahead of Dr.x on the line. That was a tough old race. Borky and Rita coming through. Rita looking for a move up the inside. She does get through the inside, but she's got a 1-second penalty. And Borky is going to get it for that reason on the line. Ooh, what a race. What a race. That was more tiring commentating, I think, than actually racing it. And Wills with a fine run out front. I tell you what, I've been saying for a long time that if Wills could stop spinning, as I do, so it's not a criticism because I spin all the time as well, but I did say as soon as Wills stops spinning, he's going to be on the podium. And not only is he on the podium at the moment, but he's winning races. And absolutely fantastic. And Borky just thanking Rita for racing with him. The only reason that I'm not racing is my head and back hurt a little bit at the moment. And I want to try and just rest a little bit and then do some daily races at 11 o'clock. So that's the reason why I'm not racing at the moment. Wills Racing was your winner with a 135.361. Gr.x in second with a 135.6. And then Jonesy in third with a 136.3. We've got Dr.x just on the line with Jonesy in fourth. Just 22 hundredths of a second between those two on the line. Can't get much closer than that. LobbyRaces in fifth. Mad Mikey recovering from that first lap incident. A 135.014. So a really good fastest lap. Very, very close to a 134. But congratulations on the fastest lap. And Borky in seventh, Rita in eighth. Your top three, Wills, Greg and Jonesy for that first race. Right, we're going to be heading off to Grand Valley Highway for this one. Or we will when I can load it up. Dr.x has got me locked at the moment for some reason. Dr.x, I might need you to jump out and then jump in again. Okay, good evening, good evening, good evening. How you doing, my friend? I hope that you are feeling a little bit better. and that you've had a better day today. Deluxe, can you jump out for a minute, please? And then jump back in. William says the commentator's curse is over. Yes, my friend. Yes, my friend. It certainly is. It certainly is. Okay. It's enabled me to do it now. So we're all good. We're all good. Yeah, Hulky postponed the GT Championship this evening because he's not feeling too good at the moment. And my thoughts with you, mate. I hope that things get themselves sorted out quickly. Hulky is okay-ish today. Just been sorting things out. Cool beans, cool beans. If you want to come and race, come and race. If you feel that you want to jump out halfway through a race, then please feel free. If you don't want to race, then don't. Entirely your call, my friend. Right, I am going to get the qualifier underway for this one at 25.2. So you've got 4 minutes, guys, and then we will be going racing. Oh, but it's good to see the confidence in William right now. So confident. I mean, to say the commentator's curse is over, that is as positive thinking as you like, and I'm really liking that. So the big question is, can you do it again, my friend? Can you do it again? I don't know what cars we've got. Borky is in the VW Beetle. Borky's good in that Beetle. He's in the Killer Bug. So yeah, really got my eye on Borky at the moment. I think that he is again one of those racers that is very soon going to find that extra little bit, which is going to bring him right back into the mid pack, and that will be really good. Have him racing and chasing me again. I've been studying a lot of replays recently while I've not been well, and that's helped me no end just to think about my own racing, and that has helped me to find a barrel load of time, which is good. But Borky is one of the guys I think is set for a jump up very soon. He's racing really well, lovely lines, very smooth, and occasionally just has a little bit of a gremlin which sets him back. Mad Mikey, again another guy that is super quick, but unfortunately a little bit too often gets into a situation, wrong place, wrong time. He's got a half-second penalty there already, and again another guy that will be right up there with the podium places, as long as he can stay out of trouble and keep it in a straight line. Libyath back with us, not been racing with us for a while, so it'll be interesting to see how Libyath does. And in the BMW, good car that BMW, nice choice. And Wills, the man on the move at the moment. Wills for the longest time was just losing races by being up in the top 3 spots and then dropping it and spinning. That seems to be a lesson that he has learned, and he's not spinning nearly as much at the moment, and that is really paying dividends. Greg White, well, Greg is always there or thereabouts. He's in the Mercedes, so watch out for him. And who else have we got? Jonesy. Yeah, Jonesy's always there or thereabouts in the road cars. But we're in the GR ones now. Let's see how he can do. He's in the Peugeot. Deluxe, he's championship race winner with LB Racing, I think. He's settling into racing with PSR again. Was left us for a while, come back. He's racing really well, and hopefully he will be able to do well in this one too. And Rita, the Triple Crown Racing with the Special Friends livery on the side there in the BMW that Rita and I were racing together in a championship recently. Again, she's Very, well, I say very quick. She's very quick, and very often I am chasing, and I invariably spin and drop it when I'm trying to stay with her when we are practicing. Haven't been doing much of that lately because of health issues with the pair of us, and we've jumped out of our GT Championship race with Hulky. I'm hoping to get into the next one, and we'll have Alliance Motorsports back, but she's in the BMW at the minute. And where are we? We are at 35. We got Greg White, Wheels Racing, Mad Mikey, D-Locks, Libyath, Jonesy, Rita and Borky. Let's get this qualifying underway. Watch Rita around this one. She's good around this racetrack, Grand Valley Highway. I don't know so much about many of the others. It's not a track that comes up overly often for PSR. So could be very interesting to see how this one goes and how it pans out. And Hulky's saying Borky's been mid-pack in the GT Championship, beaten me a few times as well. Keep smashing it, Borky. I agree wholeheartedly, Hulky. I think that he's right there. I predict that Borky is going to do what you and I have done, and suddenly something will click, and he's going to be right up there, chasing for mid to high, even podium places before very long. So I've been loving watching these, doing this commentary, because you do get to know a little bit more about people's strengths and weaknesses. And Borky's going to be good in that Beetle. Let's see how he goes. I'm looking forward to this one. But good to hear that Borky is mid-pack in the GT Championship. So Wheels in the Porsche, the Golf livery on that one, the classic Golf livery. I've got a model with this one, but that's got the black wheels. I actually prefer the model that's got the orange wheels. I don't know why. A lot of people go for black. I do love the orange wheels on that car, but that is going really nicely. And Matt Mikey is in the Porsche as well. He's in the mobile car, and then he's being chased by Jonesy in the Peugeot. I thought that was an interesting choice around here, but I've seen somebody else in that one. Libyath in the BMW, the M3. This is the older model of the M3, and good car, that one. Rita in the M6. Oh, excuse me for yawning. I didn't sleep much last night. So I'll be glad when this tooth is ripped out on Friday. There won't be any Friday night special this week. I'm having my tooth ripped out late afternoon, and I've been told that I will not be eating and talking very much Friday evening, and even maybe over the weekend. So whether I'm well enough to do some lobby racing, do some daily racing that I will stream, I don't know, but I'm not going to plan anything for Friday. So for those of you that normally tune in for the Friday night special or tune in to race, unfortunately this week I will not be hosting a Friday night special. That is a given. Greg White in the pink and silver livery. This is the one that Jack Kobe normally runs. Drac Fury, I think, put these liveries together for these guys. It does look really nice on that Mercedes. The Mercedes sounds absolutely awesome. Let's just go on board. Does sound really throaty. Raw Dog Racing. So yeah, he's in that one. And Borky that we were talking about in the Beetle. We will get an idea in a moment of the lap times that people are chasing. And he's sporting Hulky's PSR logo on that car. nice livery, that. Really, really nice livery. The light blue fading through dark blue to almost black. I mean, it's so deep, that blue, it looks almost black, but it's absolutely beautiful. Really do like it. All the lights on that car. Right, so where are we at? Mad Mikey with a 148.784 hits the front again. So he is setting the pole position at the moment. The big question is, can he keep it off the line and bring it home for a podium or even a win? Wheels Racing in second. The other thing I will just remind everybody, I'm not going to leave it open. I am going to remind everybody that we are racing soft and racing hard tyres required on this one. You can see how the racing soft tyres are wearing really, really quickly. We're doing 9 laps around here, and the tyres all coming up for halfway worn, or probably are going to be halfway worn after just 3 laps. So tyre management is going to be key here. Do you start on the hard tyres and finish up with a sprint, or do you get away and try and make a gap and then jump onto the hards at the end? It'll be very interesting to see how the strategy splits on this one. But it's Mad Mikey out front by nearly a second to Dr.x in second with a 149.6, and then it is 2.5 tenths back to Wills in third, and then 0.4 back to Rita, 0.1 to Jonesy, 0.3 to Libyath, 0.045 to Borky, and then Greg off the pace at the moment. I think he may have had an issue. He's on a 157, so watch that time tumble. But we are 2 seconds covering everybody at the moment if we ignore Greg White. And well, yeah, the top 2 1 second ahead of the rest. So let's just see. Well, Mad Mikey's out on his own, isn't he? 1 second ahead, and then the rest are really split, the whole of the grid, over a 1 second. So let's see what Greg can bang. There you go. He's 0.781 off of the fastest lap. So now we've got everybody is pretty much within 2 seconds of the leader. Borky just 2.094, so effectively 2 seconds. That is splitting everybody across the board in this one. I think that is going to be everything done. So it's going to be Mad Mikey's going to be leading Greg White away. So we switch around on that one. In the last race, Greg just snuck it away from Mad Mikey. In this one, Mad Mikey has got it, but will he be able to get through the first lap and still be leading at the end? And can he bring this one home for a win? Can Greg White do anything about it in second, lining up alongside him? Then we've got Dr.x and Wheels Racing on row number 2. Row number 3 is occupied by Rita and Jonesy. And then we've got Libyath and Borky at the back. Let's get this one underway. See what they can do. And yeah, could be a good race. Jonesy said, manufacturers, new season at Stallions. Why I am in the pug. And Richardson says, thought the M3 was good on tyres. It's not. No, Libyath, it's yeah, not the best, that one. But there are going to be a few other cars around here that I think are going to be chewing up tyres too. So it is going to be Greg White is going to be... We've lost Mikey. No, we're a car down. Off the line, we've lost Mad Mikey for some reason. So he's not going to be leading the pack away. It's going to be Greg White with Dr.x behind, and then Jonesy and Rita in fourth. Wheels just getting past Rita there to take fourth place. So that is the only real change in the first few corners that I have noticed. So 7 runners. It's going to be Greg White, Dr.x, Jonesy, Wheels, Libyath, Rita and Borky on track at the moment. PS5 says no, says Deadpool or Mad Mikey. Oh, mate, I was really looking forward to you having a good comeback in this one. I really thought that was going to be good. Did Greg White just wave to us? You watch his hands in that Mercedes. It looks like he was waving. Greg out front by 0.7 of a second. Denotes has got a half-second gap to Jonesy at the moment, and then Jonesy has got Wheels Racing all over the back of him. Although it says half a second, I think Wheels has just dropped back ever so slightly. And then just behind, Libyath has got Rita all over the back of him. Again, Libyath just saying that those tyres were not great. Going to be very, very interesting with regards to tyres. I am not telling anybody at the moment. Whoa, Greg White going around. He's dropped it badly. He's going to be dead last. So the monster Mercedes getting the better of Greg White just as we jumped on board. But yeah, I'm not going to say anything about tyres for the moment. We will see when people start pitting. People will have a fairly good idea, because obviously the racing hard tyres will go a lot longer into the race than the softs, although we do know that the Peugeot is very good on tyres. Wheels just trying to find a way round the side of Jonesy, can't quite manage it. Can he get the switch back? Oh, side by side. My gosh, is Wheels going to get that done? He does, but then Jonesy's saying, oh, I want that place back. Took a little look up the inside. Jonesy with a really late break into the corner. Wheels is going to have to give him room. Jonesy's going to have to give Wheels room. They're side by side, and we've got side by side as well, Rita and Libyath. So we've got 2 by 2 through there. They are going to need to sort themselves out very soon. And at the end of that, it is going to be Denotes 2 seconds out front. And then it is Wheels, Jonesy, Rita and Libyath all locked very much together, and Wheels goes around, or he just manages to save that by slamming the back of the car into the barrier to avoid a full 360 spin. But that has dropped him right the way back to 5th, and now into the clutches of Borky. Greg is recovering. He is 4.7 seconds off the back in this one. Long way to go though, 9 laps, so it's not over until it's over. But Denotes in that Peugeot, sorry, is monster in this one. He is 2.8 seconds out front. Behind, we got Jonesy, Rita, Libyath all locked very much together. So Rita going really well in the BMW M6. I did say watch for her. She's going to be very good around here. She does like the BMW. And I tell you what, they're not leaving much on the table, these two. Rita and Jonesy locked together, and then Libyath and Wheels locked together behind as well. Rita making a look up the inside. Can she make that one work? She has got the inside for the big corner at the top. Jonesy's going to have to go around the outside. Rita's going to have to leave room. She gets that move done. She's able to then take the normal line and hopefully be able to gap Jonesy, but Jonesy's going to say no hopefully about it. I am going to try and get that place back. Rita 0.5 ahead at the moment, going well in second. Just behind we've got Wheels and Libyath in a battle. Libyath trying to get to the inside there, not quite managing it. Again, with regards to tyres, we're going to have an idea on tyres very soon on who's running on the softs, because I would imagine they're going to be coming in on that 3 or 4, but at the moment it is Denotes out front, Rita in second, Jonesy in third, Wheels in fourth, Libyath 5th. These guys really close together, and Borky's not far off joining the action, just 1.4 seconds. Greg White is having a mare of a race. That Mercedes potentially not the right car to be in. He's got 999 on the side of it. I think he needs all of the emergency services to try and help him to get back into this one. He's 9 seconds back, and Greg struggling in ways that we are not used to seeing, and that is not a nice thing to see. We'll leave him just to see if he can recover from the back there, but no such problems for Denotes. He's out front by 2.7 seconds, but is that the tyres? Has he gone for the softer tyres? Is he going to need to brake? We'll find out. Or not brake, to pit. We'll find out in a minute. Rita is up into second now, 0.6 ahead of Jonesy, and Wheels Racing is 0.7 behind Jonesy. So these guys fairly spread out at the moment. I think Libyath is about half a second off the back as well. Oh, Wills Racing picking up a half-second penalty and hard into the barrier there. Libyath will have seen that. He's going to be looking for a way past, I think, but very difficult through this little SC section. But Wills with a half-second penalty. Libyath just needs to close up a little bit if he can, but he's got a half-second penalty now as well. So Wills will be breathing a sigh of relief seeing that. And Libya throwing away a little bit of a potential advantage there. Oh, what a shame. Matt Evans, thank you for subscribing to the channel, my friend. I appreciate you for subscribing. And also Paul Justin Palacido earlier on today, 6 hours. And obviously Mihai joined us yesterday. And, well, Deadpool watching this race. I really wish that he was in this one. Maybe Dr.x wouldn't have had it all his own way, but at the moment Dr.x is 2 seconds ahead, and I tell you what, Rita is reeling him in. She's gapped Jonesy by 1.3 seconds now, and we are in the situation where tyres are going to start to play a part. Is there anybody out there on the racing soft tyres, and are they managing to find their way through the field or stay ahead because they are on the softer tyres? Let's see in just a few moments time. So Dr.x 2.3 ahead of Rita, who's 1.6 ahead of Jonesy, who's 1 ahead of Wills, who is 1.1 ahead of Libyath, and then 2 seconds back to Borky. And Greg is already recovering. He's 6 seconds behind Borky now, but he's got a lot of work to do, a lot of real work ahead of him at the moment. Matt Evo, really enjoying watching it from middle of the English Channel in deep sea trawler. You're on a trawler, my friend. You're a fisherman. Crikey, that is a job and a half. Thank you for the job that you do, my friend. I hope that the weather is reasonably good out there today. It's been good on the mainland for a change. I bet you've had enough of the wind and the rain over the last few weeks. But thank you for joining us. I don't think I've ever had anybody watching from the middle of the channel in a trawler before. That's got to be a first. That must be a first. But thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. I really appreciate that. Right, where are we? Lap 4. And, well, nobody's pitted. So, I think that basically says everybody went for the racing hard tyres in this one. So they're all going to be jumping in right at the end onto the racing soft tyres, and we're going to have a fast sprint to the end. So everybody knows exactly where they stand in this one. I don't think I'm giving any tyre secrets away there because obviously nobody has pitted. But Dr.x is 1.6 ahead of Rita, who's 2.2 ahead of Jonesy, and he has got Wills 0.7 behind, and Libyath chasing down in fifth, 1.6 seconds back. Borky still trying to close the gap. He's 1.8 to the back of these guys, and Greg now 5 seconds behind Borky. Greg having a mare of a race. Dr.x comes in to serve his pit stop, so he's going to fall down the order. He's going to get the racing soft tyres on there, and he's going to see what he can do. Our tyre whisperer Rita is going around again. Now, I thought that Rita might have come in a little bit earlier for the racing soft tyres because she's very good on tyres, but she's gone around again. So is it going to be the undercut, or is it going to be the overcut that is going to be the way to go? My prediction would be that the undercut, because of the difference in the two tyres, we're going from racing hard to racing soft, so two extremes. And Jonesy is running on the racing hard tyres as well at the moment, as is Libyath. Those three have all gone around, as has Borky, Greg White also. So it's only Dr.x and Wills Racing that came in. What is going to happen with their strategy? Can they really make these racing soft tyres work for them and make the undercut work? We will see. When are the guys up front going to pit? I would imagine they're going to have to react to Dr.x and Wills pitting. I'm quite surprised that when Dr.x came in that the others didn't follow suit. Maybe they know something I don't know. We will see. Maybe they just don't feel that the racing soft tyres were going to go the 4 laps. Or Rita with a half-second penalty now. She's 4.5 seconds out front of Jonesy. Absolutely flying. Going really well in that BMW. Both Rita and I got to absolutely adore this BMW. We didn't like it at first. We wanted to change. We tried a few other cars. And then we found how to drive it and how well it does behave. And she's setting, with the last 3 laps, a 151.7, a 151.2 and a 151.4. So really nice and consistent. It will change this one though. She's got the half-second penalty and everybody is now piling into the pits. So we're going to see how things lie. Gr.x 2.8 seconds ahead of Rita. So Gr.x has made good work of those racing soft tyres. Rita's got a half-second penalty and she's 1.3 ahead of Wheels. So she's going to need to get those tyres up to speed, get them up to temperature and get them running as fast as she possibly can. And she's going to need to really lean on these to try and keep that 1.5 second gap to Wheels. Wheels with no penalty at the moment. And Wheels is going to want to try and close the gap. It's 1.1 at the moment. It's ebbing and flowing. It's right on the cusp. How is Rita going to manage with the penalty? Whoa, on the gravel there and a big slide. That's going to cost her a few tenths of a second. That has now brought Wheels Racing right into the fray. He's half a second behind. I think that little wheel in the dirt there has just cost Rita a little bit badly. Gr.x is 3 seconds down the road at the moment. Rita pulls over to serve the penalty. Wheels is going to get the second place gifted to him. Rita's going to tuck in behind to pick up the slipstream and try and stay with Wheels. And can she get a move up the inside? She's right back on it straight away. Oh, she's letting Wheels know that she's there. Little tap on the back bumper there to say, come on, get a move on. I've got Jonesy chasing me and I want that second place back. She's picked up another half-second penalty. Rita, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm the one who's supposed to get the penalties, not you. Come on. So Gr.x 4.3 out front. I think he's got this one in the bag. But at the moment, what can Rita do about second place or even keeping the podium at the moment? She's gone for a look up the inside. Can't quite get that done. She has to tuck in behind. Half-second penalty and she's 3 seconds ahead of Jonesy. It was something like about 4.5 a minute ago. So Jonesy can see that time coming down. But it is going to be penalties that are costing. Rita's still pushing on, really pushing on. Flames spitting out of that BMW. The brake lights glowing orange as she smacks the brakes on to get the BMW slowed down and rotated. Just 0.2 behind Will. She's really pushing him. She's going to get that half-second penalty served and then she's going to have one more lap to try and get this done. Oh, another big slide down into the wall. She's slowing down now to serve the penalty in just a moment. We've got the left-hander, the right-hander, then the penalty will be paid. Jonesy's got the gap down to 1.2 seconds. Is it enough? I'm not sure that it is. Rita's got to keep this within track limits now to keep the podium. I think that second was on the cards and unfortunately that I think has gone away. Although she's very, very quick in the BMW and the BMW is quick around this track. So we've got just over one lap to run. It is Gr.x who is 3.8 ahead of Wheels Racing. 1.5 back to Rita. Rita has got Jonesy 1.3 behind. Rita's got a half-second penalty. She's picking up penalties like they're going out of fashion in this race. So Jonesy is going to be gifted a podium if she's not careful. Borky is 3.9 in 5th. Gr.x recovering. He's in 6th now, just ahead of Libyath. And these guys are really on it and running together. Libyath looking for a way up the inside of Gr.x. Can't quite get that done. And Gr.x on the back of Borky now. So we've got a lovely 3-car battle at the back here. But it's all about whether Rita can keep the podium. And at the moment, it's looking all right. It really depends on what Jonesy can do in these last few sectors. Jonesy cannot pick up a penalty. Rita's got to nail every single break and turning point. She's 0.6 behind Wills, so she has got the benefit of the slipstream. So, I say that, it's just gone out to 1 second, but I think she is going to get the slip, which will be all important as we go across the bridge and she takes that penalty. She's going to sweep across to the right-hand side. If I know her, she is. She could potentially have stayed in the slipstream. Jonesy is far enough back, and I think she's going to keep that third place. But is she going to pick up another penalty? One would hope not. Gr.x 3.9 out front now. He's just got this lovely little flowing section as we go across the elevation bridge. He's just got the right hand up. And then it'll be a drag to the line as we go through the tunnel, making it look easy. Gr.x 3.6 seconds out front. He's going to come across the line for a beautiful win. It's going to be Wills. He's going to pick up second, and Rita is going to hold out for third. Rita gets third. Jonesy comes across fourth. Borky ahead of Greg White and Libyath in fifth. Greg White sixth, and Libyath, well, he did say the tyres were a bit of a nightmare. Oh, it looks like they were, and we didn't see the spin across the line because you're not allowed to do that. That's breaking the rules, my friend. You're not allowed to do that. Oh, Deadpool says Rita keeps hitting those bollards, or 2 laps, and the what's-its were gone. The racing soft tyres. Oh my word! Let's save that replay. Yeah, the only reason we say don't spin on the line is I know, Pete, that Libyath was last, so it wasn't going to affect anybody. But we do get people that forget themselves sometimes. They spin on the line, it throws a yellow flag. And if there's 2 cars behind that are in a race and a battle, it means you can't overtake. Or if somebody does overtake, they then get a big old penalty and then dropping back a long way. So it is in the rules. Please don't spin on the line. I can see Libyath has just said sorry, but there is in the rules for a reason, and I will call it out when I see it. Gr.x in first with a 149.590. Wills Racing in second with a 149.779, and Rita in third with a 150.7. Jonesy unfortunately not able to catch in fourth. Borky with a 5.5. Greg White with the fastest lap, a 148.984. But he seemed to have a real struggle with that Mercedes. It was a handful. Libyath struggling with the tyres in seventh. Gr.x, Wills Racing, and Rita, your 1, 2, 3 for that one. Right, we are off to another unusual race. This is going to be Sainte-Croix B in reverse. And we are in the GR4s for this one. We're back to 6 laps. 2 and 2 tyres and fuel, so it should be a straightforward sprint race, this one. And just on racing soft tyres, no need to pit. And Jonesy says mine and Gr.x fastest laps are mighty close. There was a lot of close stuff going on in that one. It really was a great race, and I was struggling to know where to look in that one. Right, I'm going to start this one at 10 past, just so that people can get a little bit of a sighting lap in if they wish, because we're going to be doing this in the reverse configuration, which is not one that we do very often. We often do the normal way around, but we'll see. So what have I done? Oh, we've only got Jonesy in at the moment. Where is everybody else? Libyath in a Hurricane. Jones is in the V8 Vantage. We'll see what other cars people go for. Okay, Rita's going to spectate this one. Not a problem, my friend. Hey, Hulky's joined us. Hulky's in the room. Again, if Hulky does rage quit halfway through, I don't have a problem with it. He's going through some issues at the moment. I'm not saying anything more than that. And Hulky, if you do need to jump out halfway through, then please feel free. And normally, I don't allow people to rage quit halfway through because you never know what's going to happen. And obviously, we want people to finish the race. And but obviously, people have got reasons, then that isn't a problem. So we got Mad Mikey, Dr.x, Libiath, Jonesy, Borky, Sim Racing is jumped in. Greg White, Hulky in this one. Let's just get out and see what people are running. So Libiath is in the Hurricane, and as I said, we're going to start this one at 10 past. So give people a few minutes just to work their way around the track. And as I said, it is the opposite way round, so can catch out a few people. Borky has gone for the little Suzuki. Now this was a great car around Sainte-Croix a little while ago. It was a cracking little car in this configuration, and very, very, very quick. So that could be a really, really, really good choice of car. He's got a nice livery on that one as well. Mad Mikey has gone for the Cayman. He's quick in that car. Mad Mikey is very, very, very good in that Porsche. So watch him. Hopefully he will be he'll be okay, and the PS5 will not say no. It will say yes to this one. And watch for Mikey being in the hunt. Jonesy is in the Aston Martin. Another nice choice. Not sure how that one is going to go. And Sim Racing in the Citroen. Tends to be the OP car in most of the GR4 races at the moment. So will be very, very interesting to see how Sim Racing gets on in the Citroen. And then we've got Wheels and Dr.x there. Wheels in the Supra and Dr.x in the Cayman. Dr.x again, very, very good in that Cayman. We saw him mixing it with the Porsches, I think, the other night. Can't remember. I might have got that wrong. Again, unfortunately, my brain is terrible at the moment. My memory is absolutely shot. But will be very interesting to see how Dr.x goes in that particular car. Hulky's joined us in the Audi. That is going to be a good car. He's in the Audi TT, and you know that Hulky is very, very good in that particular car. Haven't watched Hulky race much recently, and I'm really looking forward to getting back on track with Hulky. I'm not racing in this one at the moment purely because I'm trying to rest my back, so I want to do some daily race Bs at 11 o'clock. But we'll see how we go with these guys. So we're going to be going racing in a couple of minutes, just over a minute's time. Rita and I will be spectating this one, and we're going to have Greg White and Wheels Racing, Mad Mikey, Dr.x, Libiath, Hulky, Jonesy, Borky, and Sim Racing in this one. 9 runners. I haven't gone public tonight because I think as long as we can get 7 or 8 racers in a race, it's okay. It'd be nice to get up to 15, 16 again. But again, I prefer to have registered racers where they know that they can really push. They know that they can follow people through. They know if they do get a run around the outside or even a run up the inside, they know they're not going to get run off deliberately. So they are happy to try those particular moves and see what they can do. I am really, really interested to see how that Swift Sport goes in this one, and also to see whether the Citroen is still as quick as it was following recent updates. Will be very, very, very interesting to see. Right, so just under a minute to run, and then we will be getting going. Can I just remind everybody that there will be no Friday night special this week. I am having a tooth extracted late Friday afternoon, and it's going to be a nasty extraction and may well need to cut the gum. So I'm definitely not going to be talking and I might not even feel like racing anyway. If I do feel like racing, I'll probably do some daily races, and it will just be muted. I will not be talking very much at all. So no Friday night special this week, unless of course somebody wants to set up and host a Friday night special. If you do, please reach out into the in the Discord and let us know what you're doing, and I will be more than happy for somebody to do that. That would be great. But for me, yeah, tomorrow will be my last night of racing this week officially. Right, so qualifying is in progress. Greg White with the pink, black and white coloured car, and I do love that little Suzuki. Hoping that's going to do well in this one. I really do. Jonesy in the Aston Martin again, a car that I absolutely adore. D-Lock's in the Cayman. A lot of those guys still in the pits. We're just on board with Mikey chasing down Wheels Racing. And again, we're on the reverse configuration for this racetrack. It does flow very nicely, but it is a configuration that we don't run very often at PSR. So it would be interesting to see how these guys do in this one. Let's just pop some information up. I apologise if my speech is a little bit off tonight. I keep catching my tooth and it hurts. Of course, as I keep doing that, I'm getting a lot of saliva in my mouth, which is proving interesting. So I apologise if my speech is a bit off. I hope that the stream is running smoothly as well. I've adjusted my settings now so that both the PlayStation is running in 30 frames per second rather than 60, and Mad Mikey into the wall there, and the stream is running at 30 frames per second as well. I did have a look and experimented with 30 and 60 frames, and to be quite honest, I really couldn't see the difference. So I've gone with 30 because it is less going down the pipe, which means it should be delivering to you guys quickly. And when I did a check on my phone, I was about 5 or 6 seconds behind the stream. Talking about that, I don't know where my phone is. Don't know what I've done with it. Normally it is right here. That's interesting. Never mind. Probably left it downstairs somewhere. Not important. Not important. We got more important things going on. And that is, can Wheels Racing bring this home on a podium and without spinning? And can Mad Mikey, as I was just saying that, keep it in a straight line? The answer to that question is no. He's just had a little look at the barrier and dives into the pits. Oh, all over the place there. Poor old Mad Mikey. He's back out on track though. DBF chasing down in the Renault. Renault McGann. Ooh. So we should get an idea of lap time in a moment. I think I'm just trying to see where they are on track. It's a long lap, this one. 2:26 was the out lap. So it will be interesting to see how we go. Okay, so we're just on the first flying lap, and they've got some considerable way to go yet. Wheels Racing will be the first one to set a time. Oh, he's into the barrier. That really does hurt if you hit the barriers. It slows you down an enormous amount. You can see the sparks flying as he just grated the barrier there. And you do not want to hit that barrier on the way into the bridge. It is worse than the other way, in my opinion. You hit that, it absolutely stops you dead. It can be an absolute race killer. So watch out for that one, and hopefully everybody will be able to stay out of it. And then this is where it gets different, because we now had to sweep through the curves up the top, and it sweeps around to the left. Then there's a really tight right-hander, and then a fast left down to the right hand left turn to get towards the start and finish line. And we come downhill here. If you're not careful, I tend to find you can really slide off and into the grass there, and it really causes you a problem. No such problems for Wheels Racing, looking good. And then coming into this last corner here, the braking zone is always difficult. It's not quite the end of that corner, I find. And if I do brake at the end of that corner, I'm invariably into the barrier. No such drama for Wheels. He's going to come across a set of 154.4, but it's a red. So 222.6 is okay. That's, I don't know why he did that. Oh, there we go. Wheels into the wall there. Yeah, 222.6 he's set. Lebiath has responded with a 226.1. Borky has gone second at the moment with a 224.5. Lebiath with hazard lights on. Not quite sure what's going on there. Jonesy's just set a 224.000. 224 dead. D-Lock's going second now with a 223.9. So it's changing all of the time. Lebiath saying the Renault is hard suspension. Orby, good evening. And Richard said end of qualifying. So you only did get one flying lap. That's the reason why those hazard lights are on. So Wheels with a 222.6. It really is Max Verstappen stuff. An out lap on a flying lap. Wheels just keeping it out of the wall nicely there. Get turned across the bridge now. Stay out the end of that barrier. It does come up very quickly. Never be allowed on a real world racing circuit. That's an absolute killer if you clobber that. I don't know. Wheels, I think he has got the fastest lap already, but he is still circulating. I think he's the only one that he is. D-Lock's in second. Jonesy's got a nice third. Greg White in fourth, trying to make up for the disaster that he had in the Mercedes. Borky going nicely in the Suzuki. 1.8 off the pace, and that will be interesting to see how they go. Hulky in a 225.7. He's 3 seconds off the pace at the moment. And Lebiath 7th, Sim Racing 8th. Mad Mikey with no time set. This is going to be his times. This is a reason why we are still running. Mad Mikey's just going to come through the last corner. He really needs a blinding last corner here. What can he do to upset the apple cart? Can he get it into the top 3? He comes across the line and he goes 4th. Oh, just ever so slightly outside. 0.250 outside of the top 3. Chicken Yoga, good evening. So it will be Wheels and D-Locks that are going to lead us away first and second on the front row. Row number 2 will be Jonesy and Mad Mikey. They're followed up on row 3 by Greg White and Borky. Then we've got Honky and Lebiath. Sim Racing at the back in the Citroen that I thought was going to be really quick. And then myself and Rita are going to be spectating this one. So can Wheels get away well in this one? Can he hold D-Locks off? Can he keep it in a straight line? We heard earlier on that the commentator's curse is over. It is official. The commentator's curse is over. So when I'm talking about him, he's clearly just switching me off and not listening, which is all good. Quite happy because it's great to see Wheels up there on the podium and winning races. So Wheels is going to lead us away. D-Locks in second. Jonesy and Mad Mikey on row 2. And then Greg White and Borky. Watch for Greg coming through. I suspect he's going to be pretty quick in this one. Hulky as well. I feel that he's a little bit out of place in 7th. Hulky with a lot on his mind at the moment. And that could well be playing into things. And let's see how that little Suzuki goes. Right, it is going to be D-Locks that is going to lead us into the first couple of corners. Mad Mikey in second, Wheels Racing in third. A little bit close to call at the moment, and Jonesy with a little look up the inside of Wheels Racing there. They're side by side through that corner. How on earth they're not taking them off? They're almost going 3 wide through there, but they do then just tuck in behind each other, and it is Dnotes, Mad Mikey, Wheels Racing, Jonesy at the moment. Mad Mikey out front now. Absolutely nothing between them. Dnotes out front now, so it's changing all of the time. We're 3 wide through there. You can't do that. Oh my gosh. That is so tight. Mad Mikey's just moved over because they're 4 wide to try and stay out the way, and found Gr.x was on the inside of him. 4 wide. Oh, Jonesy hard into the barrier. Mad Mikey into the barrier too. They're still going side by side through here. This is insane. Coming up to the bridge and then 2 side by side. Wheels Racing getting right out of the way so that he doesn't put Gr.x into the barrier. That was respect. And Gr.x just getting the place up the inside. Crikey O'Reilly. Dnotes from Mad Mikey. Gr.x and Wheels Racing, Jonesy and then Libya. No, it's all changing. I think Jonesy's just binned it. Oh, that was a shame. Really tough racing there, but Gr.x and Mad Mikey are really going for it here. Mad Mikey's PS5 says, yes, let's have some. Mad Mikey just with Gr.x ever so slightly up the inside. You can see him start to turn in there, and I think he had to double take and just make sure that he gave Greg some room. I think Greg thought he was going to come over, and Greg backed out slightly. That's given Mad Mikey a half-second lead at the moment. But I tell you what, I don't think that is probably going to last very long, because you've got Gr.x, Wheels Racing, Dnotes and Borky all chasing him down, and it is tight as you like. You really cannot call this at the moment. Poor old Jonesy off the back all on his own at the moment. Hopefully he will be able to close up. Sim Racing in 8th, 1.4 behind Libyath. And then there is nothing between Libyath, Hulky, Borky, Dnotes, Wheels Racing at all. And then you've got Gr.x and Wheels are locked together. And then Mad Mikey 1 second out front at the moment. Wheels taking a look around the outside, but Greg's saying, no, that isn't going to work. I'm going to take the tighter line, and I'm going to get that move done, and I'm going to hold you. But then he puts 2 wheels, 4 wheels on the grass. Borky with 2 wheels on the grass there. So Gr.x is going to be compromised on tyres. Hopefully he'll be able to clean those tyres up. But he's now got Wheels Racing all over the back of him, and Wheels will have seen Greg going just a little bit wide in the Audi. He's going to try and intimidate Greg into another error. Greg keeping it tidy through here. Stay out the wall, guys. Oh, Greg's so close to the wall there, but all good. Hard on the brakes, gets it rotated. We're going to go across the bridge. Stay out of the core. Oh, crikey, that was close. Gr.x really dicing with the barrier there. That would have been a race-ending incident if it caught that, and he was millimetres off of the end of the alcove there. Mad Mikey now 1 second ahead of Gr.x. Greg is just 0.3 ahead of Wheels, who is 1 ahead of Dnotes. Half a second back to Borky, 0.8 back to Libyath, and 0.3 back to Hulky. 1.3 to Sim Racing, and then Jonesy 6 seconds off the back at the moment. So it is Mad Mikey that has got this one all under control at the moment, and Gr.x just trying to gap Wheels Racing, and every time Greg gets a little bit of a gap, Will reins him in. Will's going really well. That Supra looking really nicely parted around here. I tell you what, Dnotes is on the move too. Dnotes in that Porsche going really well. And then Borky in 5th, just off the back of this group. And then you've got Hulky and Libyath chasing down as well. Sim Racing not too far away, but it is Mad Mikey with a 1.2 advantage at the moment. Gr.x half a second advantage over Wheels, who is 1 second ahead of Dnotes, who's 1 ahead of Borky. Oh, Dr.x getting it really, really on the edge through there. Lovely to see that. Borky's going really nicely in this little Suzuki. Really going nicely. Is there anything you can do to close up onto Dr.x? Just behind now, we got a lovely little battle going on with Hulky, LobbyRaces and Sim Racing. Jonesy is still chasing these guys down off the back at the moment. LobbyRaces just got Sim Racing on the inside there. They're going to go side by side up the hill. They go over the rise and they're still side by side. LobbyRaces just sweeping across. Sim Racing still side by side. We've got a yellow flag up. Oh, we've got Wheels has spun it. No! Wheels has dropped it, but we've got a, I think that Greg White parked up at the side there as well. So looks like that might not have been a lone spin there. It looks like there could have been an incident with the two racers. That has put Mad Mikey now 3 seconds ahead of Dr.x. Dr.x has got Borky 1.9 behind, so Borky now finds himself in a podium place halfway through this race. Hulky big into the barrier there, having to absolutely slow that one down and gather that one up. So that's let Sim Racing and LobbyRaces get away a little bit. He's 1.3 behind LobbyRaces, and LobbyRaces right on the back bumper of Sim Racing. That Citroen is a quick car, but the Megane is just as quick in LobbyRaces' hands, I tell you. There's not a lot between these two, and in the meantime, Borky is just staying 2.2 ahead. Borky really needs to get onto the back of Dr.x if he possibly can. He's 2.6 behind. That would then give him a slipstream and maybe help him to maintain this gap to the guys behind. But at the moment, it is 2.4 away from Dr.x, and he's 2.4 ahead of Sim Racing. But Sim Racing, LobbyRaces and Hulky locked together in a battle. That might be what Borky needs. If they are in a battle and slowing each other down, that may well enable Borky to keep that gap. Although the gap does come down to 2.2 at this point of the track. Mad Mikey out front at the moment from Dr.x. Dr.x and then Borky. Borky then Sim Racing. Sim Racing just ahead of LobbyRaces and then Hulky. Jonesy off the back in 7th and Greg White in 8th. Recovering again. Greg having a bit of a mare this evening. Normally Greg would be chasing for podiums, but the Mercedes bit him badly, and then the Audi had an incident with Wheels in the Supra, and both of those two guys right now off the back of the field. 9 runners, so it's Greg and then Wheels at the back, but we are riding on board with Borky at the moment, who is 3 seconds to Dr.x. So Mad Mikey and Dr.x are just dropping this chasing group at the moment, and Borky is just managing to stay ahead of Sim, who is chasing him down. Dr.x is 2.5 behind Mad Mikey. Mad Mikey, well, the PlayStation 5 said yes. Jade, good evening. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for popping in, my friend. Appreciate you saying hello. 19 people watching. If you haven't already, please smack the like button, guys. It would really make my day. If you're new around here, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I am only commentating for this part of the stream, and then at around about 11 o'clock, I'm going to be diving into the daily races where I will be racing those. But for the moment, I've got headache, backache and toothache. So I'm just trying to rest before I jump into the Ferrari and see what we can do. We were racing the Porsche earlier on. We're going to give the Ferrari a try this evening. But in the meantime, the leader is Mad Mikey in the Porsche. 2 seconds ahead of Dr.x, also in the Porsche. So both of those two guys in the same car, pushing and pushing and pushing. Borky 3.5 seconds off the back of those guys. So Mad Mikey and Dr.x are just gapping ever so slightly, but Borky doing a great job in 3rd, and he's got the gap out to 2.1 seconds to Sim Racing at the moment. Sim Racing with LobbyRaces and Hulky all locked together. Hulky with a half-second penalty off the back. That's going to hurt a little bit in this one. And at the moment, we've got LobbyRaces looking to make a move on Sim Racing. Jinx left, Jinx right. Goes for the right to get the inside. They're side by side through this corner. I think LobbyRaces is going to get that done. Sim Racing just getting 2 wheels on the grass there, but Libyath leaving enough room. Sim Racing getting it really, really squirrely in the dirty air. Sim Racing coming back. He wants to get this place back. Libyath beautifully defending through that corner. Sim Racing has to jump in behind. Hulky, while these two are battling, is closing. He's got a 1 second penalty now, but it is back to these 3 guys all together, locked in battle, very, very close. Ness Sim Racing almost getting a wheel alongside Libyath there, switches to the inside. He's going to have the inside for this corner. Who's going to be in late braking and get this one done? Libyath sweeping around the outside. Sim Racing can't quite get that done. They're still battling. The Hulky is still right there. Hulky even looking for a move up the inside, but he has got that 1 second penalty. But he's showing that Audi is very, very, very quick. And even once he's served the penalty, he's going to be right up with these two that are battling. Hulky almost pushing Sim across the bridge here. Libyath just holding the lead at the moment. Hulky with the 1 second penalty. Out front, it is Mikey by 2.2 seconds. Dr.x is 3.9 behind. We're on lap 5 of 6. Borky 4.2 behind, so Mad Mikey and Dr.x are gapping Borky at the moment, but Borky has now got a 2.8 lead over Libyath as these guys continue to battle it out together. The tyre wear is okay, but it is going to start playing its part. Mad Mikey's tyres are looking fine, as are Dr.x. Borky's are looking really good in that Suzuki Swift, probably the best tyres of everybody at the moment, and he's putting those to good use at the moment. Libyath just ahead of Sim, just ahead of Hulky. Hulky has spent that penalty now, so he is 2 seconds behind, but I know that he's got the speed to close that gap. Jonesy is recovering. He's in 7th at the moment and still going well. Jonesy could have given up. Respect to him, he didn't. He kept going, and he now finds himself in 7th with Wheels Racing just ahead of Gr.x, and they are some 6.6 seconds behind Jonesy. Gr.x with a 1 second penalty there. Greg having an absolutely horrible lobby race today. Gr.x usually up there mixing it with the best of the best. Tonight doesn't seem to be able to hook it up. What a real shame that is. But Mad Mikey now. Oh, Dr.x 1.3 to Mad Mikey. I don't know whether Mad Mikey has had an incident or whether Dr.x has just managed to find some extra pace. But Mad Mikey on the last lap has now got Dr.x even breathing down his neck. It's 1.2 between Mad Mikey and Dr.x. Borky 5 seconds back at the moment, but crucially 2.3 ahead of Sim Racing. Can Borky bring this home for the podium? I really hope he does. He will be ecstatic if he can bring that home. I tell you what, with Mad Mikey and Dr.x out front, if I was Borky, I would almost consider that to be a race win if he can bring this home. I'm going to leave him alone so the commentator's curse doesn't kick in. Sim Racing and Libyath are still locked together. Sim Racing with the advantage at the moment, but Libyath closing, taking a look on the inside. Can't quite get that done at the moment. Oh, Sim Racing in that in the Citroen, really loose on the way in. Had to get out of that one on the grass and the barrier. Libyath having the opportunity to close up. Goes for the inside line. I think he's going to get the overlap. Can he get the move done before the corner? Sim Racing is going to have the inside line and the advantage. Well, Libyath able to just sweep across, closing the door and sweeping across the front of Sim Racing, saying, you're not coming through here, my friend. I've got this one done. I hope these guys are working on the radar, because that was one heck of a shut the door. I love that. What a move. Libyath really committed to that one. Mad Mikey, we've missed it, has come across the line in first place. 1.5 ahead of Dr.x. Borky gets third. Libyath in 4th. Ness Sim Racing 5th. Hulky's going to come across in 6th. Jonesy's going to come across the line in 7th. And then it'll be Wheels Racing and Gr.x coming across the line together after the incident that they had that we didn't see. But my driver of the race there has to be Borky B. What a race. What a race to get third there. I bet he's got a smile on his face the size of a Cheshire cat. Hi, Dan. You just seen your boy do well. very, very, very well. Wow, what a race. What a race. Oh, Borky, let us know how you're feeling. I bet he probably can't type. He's probably jumping up and down in his seat now, doing a jig around the room, I would imagine. Whoa, that's a hard race, that one too. 6 laps, Sainte-Croix B in reverse. What a race. I did say watch for the Suzuki. I did wonder. I thought it was going to be good. And it was. And the 2 Porsches out front going well. Real shame that Mad Mikey lost out on the race before. But he certainly made up for it in that one. Your winner is Mad Mikey with a 2:22.426. Gr.x in second with a 2:23.216. And Borky in third with a 2:24.162. Libiath in fourth. Sim Racing in fifth. Hulky sixth. Jonesy recovering in seventh. Wheels Racing consolation prize with the fastest lap at 2:22.018. Hadder coming together with Greg White. So those two at the back in 8th and 9th. But your winner, Mad Mikey, Gr.x in second, Borky in a fine and well-deserved third. Oh, I really would love to know. He's a woohoo! He's happy. Oh, he's a happy boy, is Borky. Well, we're staying at Sainte-Croix now, but we're in Sainte-Croix C. Sainte-Croix C, which we very, very, very rarely run. We're random weather across the board. But we're in the GR1 cars now. So we went GR3, GR4. Now we're stepping right the way up to GR1. 8 laps. The tyre wear is 4 and the fuel is 5. The only tyre that is available to people in this one is the racing medium tyre. Will they need to pit for fuel or tyres? I really don't know. I really don't know. This is, other than when we did this one as a trial, this is the first time that we've run this one. So will be very, very interesting to see how we go. I am doing a qualifier and I'm going to do the qualifier at 1:45. I think that is going to put me a little bit later than the 11 o'clock that I was hoping for. But I think that I just need to give these guys a few minutes to do a lap or two, because this is, again, is a track that we don't normally do. We do Sainte-Croix B a lot, but we don't normally do C. C is the big track. It is the normal way round. I don't know how often this has come up in the daily races, so it will be interesting to see who knows this track and who can make this one work. And of course, we're in the GR1s as well, which could be very, very interesting. Mad Mikey says, love you and leave you. Thanks for the races. Thank you, my friend. Sorry about the one that you couldn't make, but thank you for racing with us this evening. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. It'll be the last stream tomorrow, because obviously Friday is a no-go for me. Oh, Borky, wow, what a race in that last one. That was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant to see. Ah, dear. Matt, bouncing around the channel on his trawler. If you're still watching, I hope you enjoyed that one and you're enjoying some of the really, really close racing that we have at PSR. And you can see how these guys, the respect of being able to go 2, 3, 4 wide at times in some of these races. Are they going to be able to do it in this one? Who knows? Gamer Dan has joined us. So we have got Greg White is going to be going in, I think, is that the Citroen L750R hybrid? I'm not very good with these cars. Gamer Dan is in the R18, which I think is an Audi. Somebody's going to shout at me if I'm wrong. Wheels is in the same car. Gr.x has gone in the 919 hybrid, which I think is a Porsche. Libiath is in the GR10, don't know what that is. Hulky is a 908. Again, not sure. I don't know these GR1s. Rita's gone for the McLaren VGT. Interesting and nice choice. I do like that VGT. I did a lot of the World Circuit races in that one. Borky's gone for the 919 and Sim Racing has gone for the TS050. So will be very, 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 very interesting. Right. let's see where we are. We're at 22:39, so we've got 6 minutes before these guys go racing. I just want them to have an opportunity just to race a little bit. Why I'm not spectating, I really don't know. We're on board with Libby at the moment. A beautiful looking car, that was beautiful until he smacked the barrier. Now it looks a little bit dented. But yeah, a lovely looking car, that one. Oh, game of Dan, that one does look like there's an awful lot of holes and fins and bits and pieces on that one. That looks like a very, very busy car. And very sad looking headlight, that. Very, very, I don't know what that is, but interesting car. Gr.x in the gold Hertz car. Oh, lots of them in the grass. This is why I'm giving them a little bit of a chance to run, because it said it's a track that we don't run very often. So I guess a few of these guys will be doing cycle laps and trying to learn the track. Be interesting to see those guys that do actually know the track very well. Sim Racing in the black, red and white car. I say Rita is in the McLaren. Almost looks like a Tron car, that one, with the black and the blue. Very, very striking livery. She had a brilliant race in that BMW M6 earlier on around Grand Valley. Great to see different people on the podiums tonight. And also to see some super, super, super good racing. Wheels has had a bit of a mixed night. Opened up with a win, if I'm not mistaken. He's had some good qualifying races, but also had a couple where he's dropped it. Hopefully he won't drop it in this one. Got into an issue with Greg in the last race, and they both had to resume at the back. Hopefully they'll be able to keep out of each other's way in this one, and we won't have any such issue, and they will be able to race. Borky, absolutely blinding race in the last one in the Suzuki. Did really well to come home for a podium. Can he make it another podium in this one? Not if he races like that hard into the barrier there, but I'm predicting there'll be a few people in the barriers on this one. I really do. Don't know how many people know this one. Looking at it, there's a lot of people getting caught out. A lot of people getting caught out. 3 minutes to run, guys. 3 minutes to run. Hulky in the barrier as well now. That's a beautiful, look at that Oracle Red Bull Racing livery. Looking really good, but yeah, Hulky getting caught out on the barrier there as well. So I think this is going to be a case of people, excuse me, people staying out of the barriers in this one tonight. There could well be places to pick up for people just keeping it clean, you know. It'll be very, very, very interesting. Some great races that we've commented on tonight. 8 laps around here for this one. So we are almost definitely going to be over the 11 o'clock. And we're going to be going racing in just a couple of minutes. Let's just have a little quick look and see if we can see what sort of times people are doing. Libya 3:35. I think these are out laps though. 3:19 for Dan, 3:19 for Gr.x, Rita's 3:16, Wheels are 3:22. But again, I think these are out laps rather than fast laps. So 3:19 for Borky. Sim Racing hasn't set a time. And Greg, Hulky and Libyath all in the pits at the moment. So yeah, don't really know what sort of lap time we're chasing, but it does look like we're going to be a 3-minute lap for this one. So yeah, it could be what, 20-25 minute race. This one could be quite a long one. Could be quite a long one. Right, we are in the closing stages of the practice. I'm going to be getting this one underway, the qualifier, bang on Q2. As I said, we'll be a bit after the 11 o'clock. So those of you that are waiting for me to get into the daily races, you are going to have to wait a little while, because I am going to let the quali run on this. It's going to be an out and a flyer, and that's it. There is only going to be an out and a flyer on this one. If people get it wrong, it's going to result in a mixed up grid. And they're going to have to get on with it as well in this one. Have I got the extension? I've got one. Let me just push this out a little bit further, I think, to 3 minutes, just in case we need it. I'm afraid that is going to upset a few people because it's going to bump those people out that were on quick laps. But I've extended the overrun, so hopefully they will be able to get a full lap in without too much trouble. So as soon as everybody's in, we will get this one underway. We've got Greg White, Gamer Dan, Wheels Racing, D-Locks, Libyath, Hulky, Rita St. James, Ness Sim Racing. Just waiting for Borky to join. He's in. Let's get this one underway. We'll start the qualifying. And, well, may the best man or lady win in this one. And could be very, very interesting to see what happens with regards to the barriers and also strategy, of course, in this one. I'll remind you that we're on 4 tyres, 5 fuel, light damage, racing medium tyres. Will be very, very, very interesting to see how this one pans out. Good night, darling. Right, yeah, won't have any idea for about 3 minutes until they come around, and then they'll start their flying lap. And then they've basically got 5 minutes, so I think they're just going to get one flying lap, and that will be it. So it really is going to be all or nothing in this one. Could result in a topsy-turvy grid. Wheels Racing is leading the way at the moment. Gamer down very, very close behind. And then whether... Ooh. What I was going to say then, words have gone out of my head. You'll notice the lights on the side of the cars on some of them. Basically, that will tell you who is first, second and third on track. So at the moment, Gamer Dan has got one light on showing that he is the lead car, and then Wheels Racing has got 2 lights on showing that he is the second lead car at the moment. In the race, obviously, that will then give you your 1, 2 and 3. Those are the lights that you can see on the car towards the back, just in front of the rear wheels. Those lights. If we come down to Hulky, then again, he's got the lights on his GR1 car, and you can see he's got 3 lights lit to indicate that he is third running on track at the moment. Obviously doesn't mean anything for the moment because we are only in qualifier, but for those of you that are wondering what the lights are and how they work, that is what those lights are all about. So at the moment we're just on board with Gamer Dan, who is head of Wheels Racing, and they've got the little squiggly bit here, then you've got a tight left, then it goes right, and then a tight right, and then a left, and to go across the line. We've got a car in the pits at the moment. Ness Sim Racing isn't out there qualifying at the moment, so looks like he's settled for a either not going to race, or he is settled for a run at the back of the pack. Gamer Dan though is pushing on, looking nice and settled in this car. He's going to come across the line to set the fastest lap, and he is going to set a 3:11.888. So that is the time we're chasing. Don't know why it hasn't come up on the left hand side. Wheels has gone through with a 318.024, but it's red. So is Dan's actually. So maybe these aren't counting. A 319.333 for Borky. Everybody seems to be red, so they're not on an outlap, are they? I'm a bit confused. I'm confused. Orby's watching the stream and the spectate. Cool. Yeah, I'm a bit confused at the moment on the timing charts, but basically at the moment it's a 318.888 for Game of Dan. Wheels Racing's a 318.024, and Borky a 319.333. Hulky with a 328. Libiath for a 329. Greg White with a 326, Rita with a 316, and Dr.x with a 334. So at the moment, it's looking like Rita's second, Dan first. Not quite sure who's third. My brain won't compute that quickly. Jade says outlap doesn't count as a time. Yeah, but I thought we'd done an outlap, and this was a flying lap. So I'm a bit confused. So I thought this was a flying one. Sim Racing, sorry Mitch, I'm going to have to call it a night now with the longer race. That last race was great fun. Thanks Mitch, and take care. Not a problem, my friend. Thank you for joining us. So this one is quite a long one. But yeah, with a 3-minute lap, I thought that the out lap, and then they're at 5 minutes at the moment. So I thought this would have been the flying. Oh, this is the flying. Yeah, you're right. It's all right. Jade, ignore me. Ignore me. I have a brain problem at the moment, and it's caused me some issues. I've actually got I have a swollen brain membrane, which is causing me all sorts of problems right now. Orby, they definitely flying, mate. They are definitely flying. But yeah, no, I think that they are on their first flying lap. They haven't completed it yet. This Jade is pointing out. I've just completely lost the plot again. And it's just another example of how my brain is not keeping up with what's going on. Hopefully, they'll get to the bottom of what the problem is and get me sorted very, very, very soon. And I can get back to being good. The meds are kicking in, says Pork Pie. Trouble with me, I've got no meds. Just got to wait for another MRI scan in a few weeks' time, and then have a look at the brain and see if the swelling is going down. If it isn't, then we could be in for blood patches and all sorts of things. I'm still hoping that when I lose this tooth, that is going to help. Right, Gamer down with a 308.014 and the fastest lap. Wheels half a second behind with a 308.550. Borky finds himself in third with a 311.003. Borky is on fire tonight. Greg in fourth with a 311.147. Dr.x, and then I think we have just finished the time. So it is going to be Gamer Dan and Wheels Racing that are going to lead us away on row number 1. Borky and Greg White on row number 2. Dr.x and Rita on row number 3. And then Libiath and Hulky row number 4. Orb is going to spectate this one. Let's get this one underway and see how we go. As I said, we're going to be after the 11 o'clock, so I'm probably only going to get one daily racing, but I'm enjoying the racing this evening. It has been really, really, really good. And see how we go. Libya says, everyone jumping all over my screen, assuming it's my internet. Oh, that's a problem when it is laggy like that. Right, where are we? Gamer Dan is going to lead us away. We are 4 lights. We are 5 lights to Sainte-Croix, and we are racing. They are going to lead away. Oh, Rita with a blinding start off the line in that McLaren. She's going to be in the lead. That is an absolute flyer off the line. That VGT is disappearing half a second already. But Gamer Dan closing up as we go into that corner. Again, one of the cars towards the back getting caught up on the barrier. I'm not quite sure who that was. But Rita showing that she's chosen a brilliant little car. Could there be a win on the cards here? Let's see. Long way to go in this one. Again, there is going to be tyre and fuel to think about. I don't know on the fuel tank for these cars either. It's Rita, 0.3 ahead of Gamer Dan, who's 0.3 ahead of Dnotes. These three really are locked together. And then it is Borky just off the back in fourth, Wheels Racing fifth, and Hulky sixth. Gr.x in seventh at the moment. Gamer Dan looking for a way around Rita, can't quite manage it. Switches to the inside, still can't get it done. Rita with a beautiful line. We know she's good at defending. We also know she's good on tyres. But how is the fuel going to work out with this one? Dnotes trying to find a way past Gamer Dan. Gamer Dan trying to find a way past Rita. Managed to get past. Borky's right on the back of these guys too. There's a 4-car battle here. Oh, this is brilliant racing. There's no point me calling out the deltas at the moment because it is just too tight to call. It really, really, really is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 cars together here. Gamer Dan just with the advantage at the moment. But we know that that VGT that Rita's in is blindingly quick. She's got a great run through there. Stay out the wall. She's dragging Dnotes and Borky and Wheels Racing with her. Gamer Dan just managing to get a half-second lead at the moment, and Dnotes closing up on the VGT at the moment. 0.2 behind, slipstream. These cars are absolutely flying. Dnotes looking for a way around the outside of Rita. She holds the inside line. Dnotes gets a switch. Oh, the switcheroo, the undercut, but Rita gets the inside line. Dnotes somehow manages to find a way through. What brilliant racing that was. Side-by-side action through those corners. Super respectful. Borky all over the grass there, kicking dirt and grass up in the camera. Wheels Racing would have seen that. He's going to try and close up. Borky really pushing that car, and Wheels Racing looks like he's got to move through on the inside. So Borky down to fifth at the moment. Wheels Racing up to fourth. Rita third. Dnotes in second, and Gamer Dan out in first at the moment. I can't talk fast enough. These cars are so fast. Trying to keep up with the action is almost impossible. Gamer Dan with the fastest lap of 3:15.887. At least that's what it says on one side of the screen, even if the other side of the screen says something completely different. I really wish, from a commentator's point of view, that PD will get that sorted out. I never know what I can trust and what I can't trust. But it is Gamer Dan who's 0.4 ahead of Dnotes, who's 0.5 ahead of Rita. And Rita has got Wheels Racing 0.2 behind, and he is closing up really. Oh, Rita into the wall. No. I did wonder whether the barriers were going to come into play. They just did. Rita down to fourth. Wheels Racing up into third. Was Borky able to do anything about that? He's right on the back of Rita now. Can he make a move? Oh no, he's into the gravel. Oh, what a save. What a save. He's on the grass as well now. But oh my word, if I'd done that, I think I would have swapped ends on the car. That was potentially the save of the night. And he gets through on the inside of Rita. So Rita just falling back a little bit at the moment. Gamer Dan out front by some half a second, with Dnotes and Wheels Racing right behind. Nothing between those two at the moment. Borky finds himself in fourth, and he's only 3 seconds off the leaders. Could there be another podium for Borky in this one? What is the situation with tyres and fuel? Will they be able to get to the very end? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Oh, Rita dicing with the wall again on the exit of that corner. I think did she catch it? No, I think she got away with it. Borky setting purple sectors. Borky is absolutely on the move here. 3.5 seconds between Wills. Wills is just 0.6 behind Denotes, who's 1 behind Gamer Dan. So Gamer Dan has got this one in his pocket at the moment, but we're only on lap 2 of 8. Anything could happen, but Gamer Dan looking very, 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 very clean and tidy in this one. Looks like he's really got the rhythm, even got enough time to flash the lights at me as he goes down the long straight. We do enjoy that. And Denotes and Wills Racing. Denotes trying to close up. He's 1.3 behind now, and Wills Racing really wrestling that car. He's 1 second behind Denotes at the moment, so just 1 second between each of these cars, and it just closes up a little bit. 0.8 and 0.8. Denotes with a purple sector there. Gamer Dan now top this wonder, going really, really nicely. He's got the one light on his car. He's going to want to keep it that way. Denotes is going to want to lose one of those lights, and Wills Racing is going to want to lose 2 of those lights. Let's see how we go as they come across the line. Gamer Dan setting a purple, but Wills Racing going fastest with a 3 minutes 6 seconds 0.891. Gamer Dan out front by 1 second, and Denotes is currently 0.6 ahead of Wills. So these three still very, very, very much together. Borky 7.2 off the back of these. So I know I'm focusing on this little battle at the front, but it is enthralling. Absolutely enthralling. I thought the Borky was going to be joining this slot, but they are absolutely getting the hammer down and gapping the best of the rest at the moment. And the best of the rest is Borky, who is 5.2 ahead of Rita. Rita is 12 ahead of Greg. Greg having another awful race, and he is 4 seconds ahead of Hulky. But out front, it is Gamer Dan with no distance between himself and Denotes. Denotes taking a look up the inside. Gamer Dan trying to go around the outside. He wants to hold that place. He does just, but only by 0.1 of a second. Wills Racing has closed up as well. So while we were just at the back watching what was going on, these three have closed up massively. Wills Racing with Wills on the gravel there, throwing it up, pushing the track limits as much as he can. Wills Racing with a lovely little exit on that corner. Thought he was going to have a run on Denotes, but it didn't quite happen. Gamer Dan, half a second ahead of Denotes, who's half a second ahead of Wills Racing. It really is ever so even between these three runners. Wow. Slipstream playing its part, but Dan running so smoothly out front that the slipstream is really not playing much of a part in this one. Let's see as we head down into the long straight at the bottom of the track. This is where slipstream does normally come into play, but it's Gamer Dan 0.6 ahead of Denotes. It stays 0.6. Denotes right on the back. He's got Wills right on the back of him. I think Wills is going to get through. He does, but there is nothing between them. Can Denotes get it back under braking into the last corner? He takes a look up the inside. Wills Racing has to go a little bit wide. Can Wills Racing get up the inside with Denotes getting it really sideways, and Wills Racing drops it. I think he's gone around. He has. He's in the gravel. So that is now going to be Gamer Dan and Denotes absolutely released to race together. The pressure is off of Denotes, and he's right on the back of Gamer Dan. Gamer Dan having to really brave it out around the outside here. I think Dan has got his work out for him here. These two guys really going for it. Denotes just 0.4 behind Gamer Dan. Borky finds himself in third place now. He has got Wills Racing right on his back bumper. Wills is definitely going to want that back, and we get Denotes in for a pit stop. Oh, that's thrown me. He's in. I thought he was going to stay with Gamer Dan. I think the Denotes feels that there's an undercut opportunity here. He feels the car. Out he comes. Ooh, interesting. He finds himself in fifth now. What is Gamer Dan going to do with that? Gamer Dan is 10 seconds out front at the moment. In clean air, he can absolutely get the hammer down now and run his own race. He's no longer in a battle. Really threw me, that pit stop. I didn't think anybody was going to stop in this one. I thought there might be a little bit of fuel management. I thought tyres were going to be okay and they would just do a one stopper. Interesting. Right, so it's Gamer Dan, 10 seconds ahead of Wills, who is 9 seconds ahead of Denotes, who's 3.5 ahead of Rita. And then Gr.x finds himself in 5th, and then Borky in 6th. So Borky fallen back just a little bit at the moment, but Gr.x with a half-second penalty. And Hulky, great to see him still running in that beautiful liveried car. And good to see him still running. I hope he's enjoying himself, and just this little bit of racing is enabling him to take his mind off his woes at the moment. But out front, it is Gamer Dan from Wills. Let's just run on board with Gamer Dan for the minute, because he really is running beautifully in this one. Go on board with him. You can't see an awful lot in the cockpit. The massive A-pillars on this thing. It's almost impossible to see through the corners sometimes, I find. You're cocooned in there. If you suffer with claustrophobia, you would certainly be having the collywobbles, but Gamer Dan not having any collywobbles at all. Second purple sectors. Look at the scenery flying by as we head down the long straight. He's going to be looking for his brake marker. Hits the brakes hard now and then gets it turned in. Second gear, nice rotation, just gathering up the back end of the car, just a little bit squirrely. He is 10 seconds out front, halfway through the race. Is he going to go all the way? Actually, he might need to do a bit of a fuel stop on this. Might need to do a bit of a fuel stop, so don't write Gr.x off yet. Gr.x is 21 seconds off the leader. And absolutely flying. He's not leaving anything on the table now. I think it was a fuel fill. He stayed on the same tyres, I think. Either that or he's absolutely chewed them. Gamer Dan is continuing to go around. Wheels Racing in second. Some 10 seconds back. And he's got Gr.x 13 seconds behind. Wheels Racing setting purples. All of these guys are setting purple sectors all the time. They are clearly learning this track and getting quicker and quicker and quicker. Not so many people whacking the barrier as before, but yeah, really nice, those little onboard shots. Get a real feeling for the speed of these cars that you don't necessarily get by the fan view. I do love the fan view when I'm commentating. Rita's in for a pit stop now. So there are a few that are taking a pit stop at this precise moment in time. Gamer Dan continues to rotate, as does Wills, and we will be watching to see what happens. Gr.x has pitted. He's 22 seconds off the back, and was he in the barrier there? Yes, 24 seconds now, so a little bit of a moment for Gr.x just as we joined him, but yellow flag is out. Oh, please don't tell me. Who's gone round? Who's had an issue? I think it might have been Wills. Gr.x finds himself 4.5 seconds behind Wills. I think Wills just might have had a moment off camera. That means that Gamer Dan is now 21 seconds out. Oh, Wills. Oh, no. Just on board, and we saw him in the gravel and turning that around. Wills Racing having a mare in this one. The Gremlins have come. Come on, Wills. You told me the commentator's curse had gone. You told me it had gone. Wow. Right. Gamer Dan first. 25 seconds ahead of Gr.x. I think Dan might actually have a pit stop in hand now. Not quite sure how long the pit stop is. I can't see that Dan is going to get it to the end, but Dan does now have the opportunity, obviously, to fuel save. So is he going to bring it home for a one-stopper, or is he going to pit? We will have to wait and see. Greg White up into third now, just 2.5 seconds behind Denotes. Jade's just saying, go Rita, that's how my starts go too. Out loud. So Gamer down, 26.5 seconds out front. I'd love to see if he's fuel saving or going for it. Looking at the rev limiter, Denotes is going for it. I think Dan might be too. No, Dan's in. Dan is in for a pit stop. So 26 seconds advantage over Denotes. Denotes will breathe a huge sigh of relief. Well, obviously Dan is going to need to put less fuel in than Denotes did. He does go for a change of tyres where Denotes didn't. That's going to cost him a couple of seconds. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Half a tank of fuel goes in. Where does that put him? Oh, it's game on. It's game on. Dan's going to have to bring those tyres up to temperature. Greg White and Wills Racing also in for pit stops. Gamer Dan 3.5 seconds ahead of Denotes. Suddenly Denotes can see Gamer Dan in front. Gamer Dan is weaving around to try and get some temperature into those tyres. He's clearly not happy with them at the moment. And Denotes 3.2. Denotes will have no such problem with the tyres. They will be fully up to temperature. Denotes will know how those are feeling too. He will be able to lean on those tyres. How quickly can Gamer Dan get the confidence in this car and try and maintain that gap? 3.5 seconds. We're on lap number 6 of 8. Oh, Dan really loose on the back end out of that corner there. That enables Denotes to bring the gap to 2.5 seconds. Dan struggling with this set of tyres at the moment. They're obviously fresher than Denotes. How quickly can he get them turned on? Greg White in third at the moment, 27 seconds back from Denotes. So the two lead cars way ahead, and then just behind, Wills Racing with another issue into the barrier there as we just look. And then Greg White with Hulkie in fourth. So Hulkie's going really well. He was further back. He's recovered really nicely. There could even be a podium on for Hulkie here. We've still got a good lap and a half, if not 3/4 to go. And he's only 2.4 off the back of Greg White. So this could be very interesting in the closing stages. At the moment, Dan is 3.8 ahead of Denotes. So can Dan maintain that gap? Dan has got brand new tyres, whereas Denotes has got half-worn tyres. So everything should be in Dan's favour at the moment. He just breaks the 4-second gap to Denotes at the moment. So it looks like the strategy for Gamer Dan could have been spot on. He's got the tyres. I wondered if doing the tyre change was going to have cost him. But I do think that those fresher tyres are paying dividends at the moment. I'm saying that. Denotes has now got the gap down to 3.5. So Denotes has far from given up on this one. They are 26 seconds ahead of Greg. Greg 3.3 ahead of Hulkie. And Hulkie 5.2 ahead of Rita, who has got Wills Racing right behind her at the moment. Thought that McLaren was going to be super quick the way that it got off the line at the early part of the race for this one. And now she finds herself in 5th with Wills Racing recovering in 6th. We did see that Wills was in trouble as Rita just goes off the racetrack there and into the grass, which gives Wills Racing that place. So Rita down to 6th and Wills up to 5th. Borky at the moment 9 seconds off the back in 7th at the moment. He was having a great race earlier on, but things have gone a little bit wayward at the moment. But his mentor, tutor and friend is out front, 4.7 seconds ahead of Dr.x, and I think the Gamer Dan strategy was bang on. Gamer Dan easily able to take it easy on these corners at the moment. He's setting blue sectors at the moment. This lap looking to be potentially half a second quicker still. Lap number 4 was his fastest lap, a 3:06.436. Wheels Racing with a 3:05.158 and the fastest lap. Wheels in 4th. He desperately wants that podium. So he's got the fastest lap at the moment and pushing on. He's 9.3 away from Gr.x though, and he's got Rita on his back bumper. Rita wants that place back. 4th is nicer than 5th. Can she do it? We'll check in with her later. Gr.x with a half-second penalty. Oh, that's really loose. Gr.x's car, but he's in 3rd place at the moment. Dr.x 5.4 behind Gamer Dan now, so I think the Gamer Dan has got this one in the bag. We're on lap 7 of 8, coming around for the second half of this one, but it doesn't look like Dr.x is able to do anything about Dan out front with the better tyres. The fuel situation obviously very similar because they're fueled just to the end, but Gamer Dan on practically new tyres, and Dr.x is now, I think, nursing the front tyre, the front left-hand tyre, over half worn, and I would imagine in these GR1 cars leaning on that tyre is going to be a little bit problematic. We'll see. We will see. Gr.x serving that half-second penalty in just a moment. The car absolutely diving to a stop there. He's comfortably in 3rd though. Wheels Racing is 10 seconds behind. Wheels Racing is going to close up a little bit with that penalty for Gr.x being served. So he's closed up by about a second, but he's 8.5 seconds behind at the moment. Wheels going very, very well. Just 0.8 ahead of Rita. And then we got Borky 6th and Hulky in 7th at the moment, but Gamer Dan 4.2. We're on the last lap now. Is there anything that Dr.x can do, or can Gamer Dan just keep this in a straight line? Doesn't really need to take any chances. It's Dr.x that's got to really overdrive the car and bring it home. Gamer Dan can just do some safe qualifying laps now and bring it home for the win. But as you can see, Dr.x is really pushing. Purple sectors flashing up on the screen for Dr.x. He's got the time down to 3.5 seconds. It now drops to 3. So I don't know whether Dan's just had an incident or whether Dan is just managing this one. But he does just push it back out to 3 seconds. Got about 3/4 of the lap to do. Long lap. Dan's times 3:07, 3:07, 3:06, 3:27 for the pit stop, then a 3:08 and a 3:07. So he's back into the 3:07s, really pushing. Dr.x in the 3:07s as well at the moment. Lap 7 and lap 6, both 3:07. So Dr.x really pushing on, but Dr.x even has had a bit of an issue. I don't know if he's been into the barrier, but he's got damage on the front, which is really going to hurt that car. So Gamer Dan now pushes the lead out to 11 seconds. Dan, I think, can probably bring this home really comfortably now. That strategy working. Dr.x absolutely pushing for all he was worth, and he was closing up, but unfortunately it looks like he's had a bit of a barrier issue, and I think that really is now going to be game over for Dr.x. I can't see any way that he's going to manage to close 11 seconds in the latter half of this race unless Gamer Dan does something absolutely crazy silly. Gr.x parked up. Not quite sure what that is about. Wheels Racing's gone through, but Rita goes through as well. Greg's parked up. I don't know whether he's just waiting to pick up the back markers there. But it is Gamer Dan 12 seconds ahead of Dr.x. Dr.x 25 seconds ahead of Wheels, and Rita 7 behind. Can Rita do anything to close up and potentially get a podium in the closing stages of this race? Who knows? We saw that McLaren was very, very quick at times, but we do also know that Wills' car is very, very quick down the long straight. Wills is actually losing time to Rita. Rita is closing. She's got that now down below the 8 seconds. Wills rotating through the tight right-hander. Rita, 7.8. Wills is really pushing on. He's got the 3 lights on his car. He wants to keep the 3 lights on his car. Gamer Dan comes across to take a very, very well-deserved win. Gr.x is going to come across in second, some 13 seconds back, but they are 24 and 36 seconds ahead of Wills. Wills has just got the last couple of corners, this one, and then he's got the last corner, and it's a drag to the line. He's going to be ahead of Rita by some 8-9 seconds as he comes across the line to get a very, very, very good third. He had a very interesting race with a few issues. Rita looks like she's had a good race too. She's going to come across the line to take 4th. And then Hulky, bless his heart, he's still going. He's got 5th, just ahead of Borky and Gr.x. These 3 all together. I do wonder whether they closed up to finish the race together. Oh, Hulky into the grass. He's binned it. That is going to let Borky and Gr.x through. So Borky gets 5th. All closing up. Game with Dan says Rita flew off the start line. Absolutely. Gr.x, thanks for all the racing. GGS, Game with Dan, I spun on the last lap. Tyres were nearly dead. Yeah, Gr.x really, really, really pushing hard. But Game with Dan absolutely nailed the strategy. I thought that Gr.x was going to get the undercut. Didn't quite come off. These 3 guys locked together. They're absolutely going to come across the line together. Hulky gets 5th, Borky 6th, and Gr.x in 7th. Wow. Wow. And I think the Wills might have got the fastest lap there. We'll have a look in just a moment. I will save the replay, and that will be the last one tonight, guys. And then I'm going to head in to some daily races for as long as I can. We are 23:21, so well over the amount. Oh, Borky ran out of fuel. Oh no. A long stream tonight. Only 4 races, but they were long ones. But different races and some great races. Some real brilliant side by side. At one point, one of the races, crumbs. We have 5, 6, 7, 8 cars all really tight together. 3 abreast at one point. Absolutely incredible. Lots of side by side action. And just great to commentate. Great to enjoy. Great to watch. And thoroughly enjoyed that one. Really, really good. Right, where are we? Your result, Gamer Dan was your winner with a 306.436. Gr.x in second with a 307.006. And Wills in third, another podium and the fastest lap of 304.767. That is a brilliant fastest lap. Nearly 2 seconds ahead of Dan. Wow. Rita with a fine 4th. Flyer off the line in that McLaren VGT. That was quick. She got 4th. Hulky, not feeling it, but he ran well. He came in 5th. Borky running out of fuel, I think, in 6th, if I've read that correctly. And Gr.x probably pushing him over the line in 7th. Game with Dan, Gr.x, Wills Racing. Congratulations. You're 1, 2, 3. That is it for me tonight, guys. I am afraid. I hope that you've enjoyed the stream. I hope you've enjoyed the lobby racing. We'll be back with some more tomorrow. Just a reminder that there will be no Friday night special on Friday because hopefully, all being well, I will be having my tooth ripped out and the gum is probably going to need to be cut open, which I don't much fancy. So I've been told I'm almost definitely not going to be talking, and potentially I might not even be racing. So I will catch you all a little bit later on. For the moment, I am going to jump into the daily races for the next half an hour or so. Hopefully, I'm going to have an opportunity just to do a few laps. I've got the wrong car for the minute. I've lost it. That's the one we want. We've got 5 minutes. Let me just jump out and... Oh, no, I'm going to need to do that race, really. I am gonna need to do that one. Oh, that's a bit tight on time, but I'm going to need to do that. Otherwise, I'm not going to get a race in. So I'm committed. We are committed. Time trial. I'm going to get in behind Jack Kobe and see what we can do. I am going to go very, very quiet now because I have got my work cut out. Not been able to. Actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to go with the headphones. I need to turn them on. Oh, this is not what I want to do. Okay, I think the headphones are flat, so we won't be doing that. I'm going to need to turn the TV up a little bit. Oh, no. I think we might be okay. Might be okay. Right. Let's just do a restart, retry. Jumping straight into a race is probably going to be a bad idea, but never mind. Oh. We were doing okay in this one earlier on, but now I'm panic mode. Come on, settle down, Mitch. Oh my gosh. I was doing so much better earlier on. This could be a tough race to start off with. Oh, this could be a really tough race. Could have made a mistake here. Could quite easily have made a mistake. Oh, Nando Loris is in. Ooh, oops. Oh, Greg's in. Greg's in. Oh, my word. This could be interesting. I've not raced with Greg in ages. He's an A+. How am I in with so many A+? Oh, my word. This is going to be interesting. Right. On the first one as well. Yeah. Right, we've got to get in the groove straight away. We need to get in the groove straight away in this one. Yeah, bent it straight away. Oh, I knew it was going to be a bad one. Did I get tagged by the car behind? Was that where I went round? Just noticed I got a load of damage on the back. Go, Greg. Go, go, go. Yeah. Oh, this is awful. Oh, terrible.
Oh,
Really bad. Really, 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 really bad. Oh, my word. Right. We'll do another one, but I need to get some time on track. This is one of the reasons why I never, ever, ever jump straight into a race without having a good few minutes practice first. I'm not sure whether I dropped that or whether I was tagged at the beginning of that one. The car did seem to rotate in a very, very, very strange way. I'm not going to lie, it did seem very, very strange. But and it came out with a load of damage on the back, but I'm not sure whether I dropped it and then got hit. So I think it was all on me, and I need to make sure that doesn't happen again. Greg, I've tried brake balance and struggled with it, if I'm honest. So I'm just going with it in the middle, as I normally do. But now I've got 7 minutes just to get into the groove. Oh no. It seems a bit more slippery than it did earlier on today. It's a feel as planted, sticky. That can't be the case. I must just be pushing it too hard or something. The corners or into the corners. Oh, just can't get this tonight. Don't know what's up with me. Whether I'm just tired now. I was doing 125 fives consistently earlier on. I might be trying to brake too late. It's better. 225s. That's what we should be doing. All right, let's see what happens in this one. Okay, Greg's in again. See what we can do. Yeah, I can see Greg's in. Yep. Good luck, Greg. I won't. Won't trouble Greg. He'll be away and gone. He's in third. I'm sixth. Yeah. What's going on? I don't know what that's about. Must have caught the wrong button on my wheel. Oh, dog it. Get hit again. What is up with everybody tonight? It's not quick enough tonight. Run out again. If you're going to go around the inside, mate, at least give me some room. He does not want to turn. I think I'm going to give up tonight. Now it's gone around. Ah, come on. Ugh. Well done, Greg. Oh, dear, 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 dear. Oh, Farnell, good evening, good evening. Confused about the names in the list. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to do daily races. I've had 2 horrendous daily races. I mean, 2 really bad ones. Definitely got hit in that one. 100% got hit in that one. No question. I'm pretty sure I got hit in the first one too. So it's going to put me way down on my DR. That's a bit strange. Oh, it's a new day. That's why it's 0. 32,159 we're down to. Really, really, really ugly daily races, those two. Really ugly. Yeah, Greg, I noticed. Unfortunately, I didn't get his name, otherwise I would have blocked him for future races. But I've not had a good night, actually, so far. I can't get anywhere near the times I was setting earlier on. It's a guy behind me thrown out, and Don't Crash Me was out front. I don't think it was him. I'm in with Greg well again. Oh. Nando Loris in front. Ah. I just want to have one decent. This has got to be my last one, but I just want to have one decent race tonight, if I can. The guy that took me out, he was in a black Porsche. He just gave me a good old push through the corner. Now I had another one where I was on the outside and he just ran the normal line, didn't leave any room on the outside at all, and I was just had nowhere to go. So again, you know, going around the outside of people through corners, I've got to learn is never a good idea, because a lot of racers, they're not aware of where other people are, and they'll just come out the corner on their normal racing line and just push you off. So that's something else I've got to learn not to do. We could do it in our PSR lobbies. Because they're respectful and you can do that. Unfortunately, daily races. Thank you, Greg. I can see he's just dropped to the back just to cover my backside. I think he's just got knocked. On the grass. Oh. that was better. Whoa. There's a load of really mixed up lobbies. We've got B's, A's and A pluses in this. Really mixed up lobby. Oh, which was the German guy not living up to his name? Oh, that was hard work. That was really hard work. Right. 17. I got 17 DR for that. Just 17. That's not very much. Oh dear, 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 dear. So if I'm right, yeah, 9th to 6th on that, and I got 17 DR. Farronell says, is the Ferrari more comfortable to drive than the Porsche? Yes, 100%. In fact, in the Porsche, I was struggling to get 126s. In the Ferrari, when I was practicing not streaming earlier on this afternoon, I was getting 125.5s every lap. In fact, very often I was getting down to the very low 125s, threatening my fastest lap, but I just couldn't do it. Sometimes I was just 0.2 or 0.3 away, and I was getting so frustrated that I couldn't do it. But I think I just got tired. You could tell during the main part of the stream when I was commentating that I was yawning. It's been a very, very, very busy week, and I don't think I was really on it tonight, unfortunately. So will I be able to do any tomorrow? I don't know. We've got the plasterer in tomorrow. Quite as to what time he's going to turn up, quite as to how work is going to go, quite as to what time I will have during the day, I don't know. If I can, I will jump on and do a lobby, not a lobby, do a daily race or two. But at the moment, yeah, we're floating around between 32,000 and 33,000 points, and we're back right the way down to 32,176. So we do need to improve, and I'm really quite disappointed to only get 17 DR off of that last. I mean, as Farronell says, at least it is an improvement. It is an improvement, but for a race like that was really tough, to have overtaken, I know Greg let me through, but to overtake an A plus, and to, I don't know, I don't know, don't understand. There are a few B's in there, so maybe they pulled it down, who knows. Anyway, I will bid you a good night. I hope that you have a really good day, the rest of your day, or good sleep if you're heading off to bed now. Thank you to everybody that has liked and subscribed this evening. Thank you to Matt Evans and Paul Justin for subscribing today. Very much appreciated. Thank you to everybody that has liked the stream and that has commented and supported me in one of the many ways. But yeah, hopefully I'll find a little bit of time tomorrow to run a daily race or two during the day. But for now, I'm done. I'm completely cream crackered. I'm going to call it a night. Take care. Bye.